Welcome to a place for those in truth and conviction, a place where we discuss culture, politics, philosophy, and everything between. I'm Luke, and I'm here with Russ. This is Hardly Politics.
Hell yes, dear listener. The HSP boys are back in the saddle once again for episode number 113. Thank you so much for saddling up with us. Prime number episode, dear listener. Prime number episodes go very well for the HSP boys, and we are certain that they go well for you too. 2 separate continents, 2 separate countries, 2 separate adult beverages just to make it fair, and 2 separate cups of coffee fee. 2 separate mansplainings, 2 separate fact shamings, 2 separate trails to the same inevitable conclusion. 113, dear listener. 113 is the 30th prime number. 113, the hip-hop band from France, which I think have broken up now, but I'm not certain about that. But none of this really matters anyway, dear listener. And why is that? Because the trail grows longer each and every single week, and 113 means we have 113 miles to ride on this trail right here, right now. So let's not tarry. Let's saddle up and ride into episode number 113, which is in the house presently. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at Zero Gravity Med. Send us feedback at zero-gravity-media.com. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and TuneIn, all 4 under Zero Gravity Media. Do not bother looking for us on Podbean, dear listener, because Podbean is dead to the HSP boys. You can find us right here on YouTube where you're tuned in right now. Search for Zero Gravity Media and our God tier, Zero G logo. You can also find us on Rumble, rumble.com/user/Zero Gravity Media. All HSPs are going to Rumble. We'll be working out a deal with the Shoe Bros pretty soon, and they will also be on Rumble, so find us there. You can find us on Locals, zerogravitymedia.locals.com. We have a vibrant community started on Locals, and we're very excited to be a part of it. Come join us. You'll love it. I promise you. Dave Rubin's platform, dear listener. You'll never regret it. Send us some feedback using the contact form at our website, zero-gravity-media.com/contact. Each episode, Luke and I like to call out one city. And this city, the magic of this city, is the city with the most HSP listens during the previous week. So without any further ado, the city with the most HSP listens during the previous week is... All right, dear listener, once again, for the second week running and by a very long shot, we've got Luke's hometown for real and my adopted hometown. Both of our hearts live in this town. It is Aggieland. Dear listener, College Station, Texas, once again, second week running, once again by a very long shot. So College Station, thank you so much for the support. You know Luke and I support you back. Gig 'em and keep up with your schoolwork, Aggies, all right? Don't waste all your time on HSP. Make sure you get your studies done. But thank you so very much. We hope to do you proud, and we know that we will. Gig 'em. All right, Luke. I got a lot of show prep again this week. How you doing this week on show prep?
Dude, as always, yeah. Well, not as always, but yeah, I've got a lot of show prep too.
All right. I
mean, yeah, a lot happened this week, man.
It did, man. It did. And it doesn't really feel like it did, but it did. A lot of shit went on this week. And yeah. It was one of those, I started kind of trying to collate articles and themes and thoughts last night and this morning. And you start looking back and it's like, I'll be damned. I have another, 50, 75 articles again this week. Like, yeah, a lot of stuff went on. A lot did. And not the least of which, I suppose, are these Biden executive orders that are just absolutely out of control, man. Out of control. And
I mean, do you remember when it was like, oh, he made 13 and that was a big deal? Now it's like, what, 42?
Yeah, it's 42. That's last I heard too. 42. Yeah, it's insane, man. Yeah.
Sorry, dear listener, if I seem a little distracted. I am trying to post everything out to all of our socials. My socials.
Socials. Yeah. Good deal, man. Yep. So... Well, dear listener,
including our locals community. Sorry to interrupt, Russ. I'll toss it right back to you. I just want to say, dear listener, thank you so much for everybody that joined into our locals community. We had a bunch of people join, a few paying subscribers, which we very, very, very much appreciate.
So much. Yes.
Yeah. And just can't say thanks enough. Yes. In the coming weeks, we're going to continue building out locals, making it just a little more interactive and more pay tier options and so forth. If you want to support the show, go to zerogravitymedia.locals.com. Again, we'll always say this every show, multiple times per show. Don't damage yourself. Only do it if you can afford it and if you actually think that we are pushing your values. But go to zerogravitymedia.locals.com and join in. And we hope to get a vibrant and what was the word that the alt-right community used to use? Was it vibrant? A vibrant community, diverse?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So join in zerogravitymedia.locals.com. Anyways, go on, Russ. I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh, no, not at all, man. I'm glad that you said that because I am likewise grateful. I was blown away when I created my Locals account this week. Dear listener, I meant to do it on Monday night, straight up forgot, got there on Tuesday. I followed everybody in the Locals community in Zero Gravity Media that I've seen so far. I will log back in tonight, and you get an instant follow from me, Russ ZGM on Locals. You join the community, I'm following you, period. Straight up, automatic, guaranteed. So thank you so very much for your donations. And Luke, no interruption at all, man. We cannot emphasize this enough. But I did want to say on the topic of the content, dear listener, it's exactly as Luke and I said. Now, we do have some scary bits of legislation coming up that I want to cover a little bit, and they're really scary, right? Legislation is a problem. Executive orders are not. We're going to have to abide by them to some extent for the next 4 years. Once we take back over the White House, those executive orders can be undone, and they will be undone. But it's exactly like Luke and I said would happen. There is no consensus in this country right now. Part of this thematically has to do with the rise of populism, okay? And I'm skeptical of populism, dear listener, but I could shout at the sky for its shade of blue. Might as well, not waste our time doing it because we are in an era of populism. I mentioned to Luke before the show that I'd like to do a deep dive on populism at some point. I might mention some thoughts here and there about this new era of populism that we're in that has become apparent, but I want to do some study on it, right? Studied it in political science in college and all that kind of stuff, but I want to look more into it than I'm ready to speak to right now. But there is no consensus, dear listener. And so that means that Biden has to necessarily rule by executive fiat. This can all be undone with my pen and my phone. It can all be undone, right? Legislation is a little bit of a tougher nut to crack, okay? And we do have some scary legislation coming up. Luke and I will hit it in this show, guarantee you that. But I'm surprised, Luke, not by the tactic at all, right? And still to this date, I'm not surprised by anything Biden has done by executive order. I am surprised by the pace thereof, man. Damn, 42 executive orders. I'm really surprised by that. That's pretty brazen, to put it mildly,
Yeah. Okay, I just put in the chat for everybody. Please feel free to ask questions. More than happy to address questions. Yeah, dude, absolutely. I think it's worth mentioning right at the outset. I mean, this was something that everybody was worried about. They're like, oh God, oh God, oh God. They have everything. They have everything. They have the House. They have the Senate. They have the presidency. But you notice immediately out of the gate, they're trying to destroy the filibuster. The filibuster is basically you need 60 votes in the Senate to really get something passed. So it's not just enough to have the 3. You have to also have the Senate by a good margin, a good majority. And that's what they're trying to destroy. And there's a bunch of Democrats who are dissenting on that. So,
Kyrsten Sinema, nonetheless, is dissenting on that. Kyrsten Sinema is a moderate, dear listener. I'm surprised. I figured she'd be a far left radical. She's not. She's a moderate. So sorry, Luke. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, absolutely. That's good to point that out. But I think this is one of those situations in which our founding fathers were like, no, it's not like we need to put so many safeguards in place that you can't just, steal an election, which, let's be honest, that's what happened. And then now suddenly fundamentally change the country. They put so many safeguards in place that they were literally centuries ahead of their day in terms of the way in which they've formed our government, which is, let me see. Yeah. Because I hear the left, they go, oh, the filibuster was a product of Jim Crow era.
Yeah, that's going to be the tactic to take it down for sure.
Yeah. And whatever the case, yeah, thankfully it's going to be very difficult for them to get anything through. I don't expect them to in the near future. So yeah, I think we're, as long as we've got some dissenters on the left over the course of the next 2 years, I think we're good to go on the filibuster.
Yeah. 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 Well, just to fill in some color in the lines on these Biden executive orders, got a Gateway Pundit piece here. I'm not going to read it. The headline tells you everything you need to know. Beijing, Biden ends President Trump's policy of reducing medical costs on insulin and EpiPens to please Big Pharma. It's true. That was one of his executive orders this week. Absolutely stunning shit. Stunning shit. Here is another one. Once again, this is from Gateway Pundit. The title says it all, so I'm not going to read the piece. Insane, Joe Biden signs executive order banning the term China virus. Dear listener, you cannot say the term China virus in the United States anymore. That's not just for the Fed Gov. That's for all of the citizenry. That applies to you. If you say the term China virus, you are culpable for arrest. Well, I don't actually know what the charges would be, but it is banned. Okay,
that's not, dude. That'll get sent straight up to the Supreme Court.
Exactly,
and shit straight back out.
Exactly. That is free speech. That will go to the Supreme Court and get shot down. And this is good, dear listener, because it will set a precedent for Biden executive orders being shot down by the court. This is good. This is good. So you're right. There's no way that survives, dude. There's no way that survives.
But that says something on its face, where that is just pure dictatorial.
Yep.
Pure dictatorial mandate. Dude, Biden back in October was like, you can't just rule by dictatorship through executive orders. And then here he is, 42 in. 42, 43?
Yeah, 42 or 43. Yeah, I think it's 42. Yeah. More cometh. Many more cometh. Yeah.
And he's not even doing this. There was a clip this week, and from the Oval Office where he's like, I don't even know what I'm signing. He's caught on a hot mic, and then Pelosi's in the background. Yeah, she's
sign it anyway.
Yeah, just sign it. He doesn't even know what he's doing. They had all this stuff drawn up beforehand. Pelosi has to be one of the most evil human beings on the face of the planet.
Yeah,
at this point.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, dude, she is. Oh God, dude, what a vacuous human being.
I know, but boy, she is effective. I'll give her that. She's a smart politician. So I don't know, but I think they're going to lose the House. Go ahead.
She's like Ursula, or
she is. Yeah,
from the Disney movie. Wasn't it Ursula, the octopus evil lady from with the?
I know what you're talking about. What was that? Was that Little Mermaid? Is that what that was?
Mermaid. Yeah. Yeah, it was Ursula.
Yeah, it's Ursula. Yeah. Yeah.
She's the Ursula of the left.
She is, man. She's the Medusa of the left. Yeah, the left. Yeah, she is. Yeah. So, dear listener, I'm still white-pilled. I'm still very excited about the potential we have and what we're going to do together and how we're going to do it and how much fun we are going to have. But we have some real dangers here right now. Real dangers. And Nancy Pelosi is not the least of those. Joe Biden is not the least of those. But I'm going to say, dear listener, the way I see it right now, poor bastard doesn't even know what executive orders he's signing, and he's being directed around and told sign them anyway, right? I don't think he survives the Oval Office very long. And I'm not talking about violent threat. I'm talking about, I think he's going to get 25th amendmented out of the Oval probably sooner than I expected before Inauguration Day, based on what I'm seeing. Yeah, I do. Huh. He's going to want to hold on to it. Do what?
I was going to say, but for what reason?
He's unfit already, unfit to rule. Oh, well, I don't mean rule. He's unfit to preside. I don't want to say rule in the United States of America. He's unfit, dude. He's half there at best, man. You know what I mean? Half there. And everybody knows it. They especially know it. So I think it will be a Democrat removal of President Biden. I think this year sometime. Yeah.
But they have no reason to.
These reasons can be created. At the moment, you're correct, though. They don't. But these reasons can be created.
I mean, the guy's basically just a thoughtless bag of meat. That all they have, like, literally, he just does whatever they want. I mean, he's the perfect president. And
yeah, that's a damn fine point. Yeah. I think that's what these executive orders are all about. To be perfectly honest, clearly, I mean, based on that clip that you mentioned that came out this week, clearly that's what he is. He's just a puppet, right? He will. Every puppet outlives their use, Luke, and that's why I think that he won't survive long, right? And I think also that explains the rapid pace of this dictatorial rulership, is that they realize that he won't not live, but he won't last long, is what I mean to say. So,
yeah. I mean, it's going to have to be, I mean, think about how abundantly clear it was to all of us in the weeks and months leading up to the election. I mean, dude, it's going to have to be like, he's like in a wheelchair drooling on himself before they're like, maybe we should 25th Amendment him.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be a mercy kill.
Yeah, that you may be right about that. And for what wits he has left, I mean, dear listener, Biden has been working on gaining this office his entire political career, 47 years at this point in time. He's not going to let go of it easily. So I do understand your argument about, maybe not, Luke. I just have this. It's just what I see in the tea leaves. My predictions are always wrong, though. Although so far in this administration, my predictions have been spot on, if I may say, which I do. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, it doesn't matter, man. Because you're exactly right. The left are the way you've always described it, the model you've created here in these hallowed halls of the leftist agenda. How it's a plug and play agenda. It is also plug and play personnel, man. One can jump in, one can jump out. Right? They've got this. They've got it down to a machine now. So, you know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. If it's not Biden, throw in Kamala. She's going to do what we tell her. Yeah. It's not Nancy Pelosi. Throw in whomever. She'll do what we tell them. It's like that. So, yeah. So,
yeah. By the way, I think I might be needing to change my Wi-Fi.
Are you cutting out? Yep. All right, dear listener, Luke is in need of changing his Wi-Fi out. Lucky dude, he's got 2 Wi-Fi networks there in his house. He just froze up. He'll be back in just a minute. There is one particularly evil executive order I want to cover with you, and I got this from the Ace of Spades, and I knew about it, so I'm going to read a source. It dropped on January 30th, which is exactly this morning in the year of our Lord 2021. I'm going to read it from the top. It goes thus: if only they had regulated more back then, maybe Joe Biden wouldn't have to do it now. I was curious yesterday about the title to a piece by I&I. Biden's worst executive order went almost entirely unnoticed. And dear listener, I do extend my apologies. I should have mentioned this on Bots, Thoughts, and Drops number 26 this past Monday night, and I neglected to do so. So let me continue with this paragraph. Turns out to be about something quite disturbing. There have been many disturbing executive orders, but this one concerns how the others are implemented. The order goes by the title, quote, Modernizing Regulatory Review. Except this order isn't about modernizing regulations. It's about unleashing the regulatory state with a ferocity never before seen in this country. Biden's order, which didn't get released to the press until late in the evening of his first day, aims to effectively toss the cost-benefit analysis that for many decades has served as the least of a modest break on the ambitions of regulators. In the past, regulations where the cost of compliance far exceeded the benefits could be stymied by the White House Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs. Biden wants the review process instead to be, quote, a tool to affirmatively promote regulations and to, quote, to ensure swift and effective federal action, end quote, on everything from the pandemic to the economy to racial injustice to the, quote, undeniable reality an accelerating threat of climate change. Oh my God, end quote. In other words, everything. And so, dear listener, this executive order paves the way so that Biden no longer has to pass executive orders. He'll do it through the regulatory apparatus. He will regulate your whiteness, your racial supremacy by executive order. He will, or by regulation, rather. He will regulate climate change. He will regulate Black Lives Matter, but not in the way that he won't regulate it. He'll unleash it. And yeah, that is particularly evil, dear listener, because it is the executive order to rule them all. It is the one executive order to rule them all. And Ace of Spades is quite correct to call it out exactly so. So, Luke, I don't know if are you back in the saddle? You good, man?
Yeah, I should be. Can you?
All right. I was talking about this executive order that was passed on the end of day one that unleashed the regulatory state that basically really removes the need to pass executive orders, because everything that Biden wants to do by executive fiat can be done now by the regulatory state, by his executive order unleashing the regulatory state. It's scary shit, man. Scary shit.
Yeah, so it's limited in a lot of important ways. By the way, can you hear me again?
Yes, sir. You're good.
Yeah, dude. It's like, here's the thing about Europe. It's like they pride themselves on these, like, oh, our buildings last 500 years. Well, you don't think about the fact that perhaps you have Wi-Fi at some point and that
right.
needs to penetrate walls. So it's like the moment I close this door behind me, the Wi-Fi goes to shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like just closing a door. It's just unbelievable, dude. We don't live in a huge flat, and I have to have 2 different ISPs. And it's like the moment you walk into a grocery store, no more cell service. The moment you walk into a building, no more cell service. It's just it's unbelievable, dude. Anyways, so yeah, you were talking about Biden ruling by executive fiat. I mean, it's limited in many ways. For example, rejoining the Paris Climate Accords, they, that was one of the executive orders, but it doesn't mean a whole lot because it's basically just an agreement. Because if you're going to try to make anything official, then it has to be an official international treaty. And as soon as you do that, then it has to go through Congress. So the way Obama designed it was that they could, as long as it wasn't a formal treaty, so it was just sort of, oh yeah, we agree to do this.
Right.
That's the way Obama designed it, so that he could enter them in the first place, so that they could be created in the first place.
And it doesn't have to be ratified by the Senate that way. Exactly that. Yes.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So because and Biden knows he's never going to get anything like that through the Senate during his first presidency. So the Paris Climate Accords are just like a sort of a handshake, sort of, oh yeah, sort of agreement. And as a result, it can be litigated in court. A lot of these things, I mean, Paxton is really based in red pilled AG Paxton.
Oh yeah.
I mean, dude, if we want to get into that, man, I mean,
I've got a lot about Texas this week. You're welcome, United States of America. You can thank Texas for everything that's happened this week, if I may say, which I do.
By that you mean Paxton, AG Paxton.
Paxton, yeah, yeah.
So Dan,
that's good. Yeah,
Dan, one of our paying subscribers, as being a paying subscriber, when Dan asks a question, we are beholden to
absolutely
answer those questions. Well, it wasn't a question, but he was kind of like, I want to know the track record. What's the history behind Paxton? What's the future for him? What's been going on? So maybe you can, I don't know, Russ, like what do you think about based in red pilled Paxton?
Love him to death, man. Dear listener, he was the one that raised the Supreme Court challenge about not election fraud, but about how the state of Pennsylvania violated the Constitution and their election law, and therefore compromised the Texas vote for Donald Trump. It was a constitutional issue. I thought we had standing. My friend John does not think that we had standing, but I did. And the Supreme Court refused to hear it. Right. He is just on a tear right now. I don't know much about his past, but I can tell you in the state of Texas right now, Governor Greg Abbott is in some hot water. People are pretty pissed about the way he handled the Kung flu. Okay. And it's still handling the Kung flu. he may have a gubernatorial challenge in his future. But Luke, I think more likely a senatorial challenge. I think he ends up running for Senate in 6 years. In that son of a bitch I hate, I always forget his name. Not Ted Cruz, John Cornyn's seat. He ends up running, primarying John Cornyn for his seat and winning by a lot. So that's where I think his trajectory is at the moment. Maybe even a presidential run someday, because he's a likable guy. He's not he's not radically conservative. He's pretty moderate, right? He's just a kind of like ACB, man, kind of like a middle of the road constitutionalist. That's what he is. You know what I mean? And not a cuck, but agreeable, would be able to find things with which the left could agree with him. You know what I mean? So, but I think first steps first, senator race in 6 years, primary Cornyn, get him the F out of here. Cornyn sucks. Get rid of him, primary him for his seat, and win it. That's where I think it goes. What do you think?
Well, he's a member of the Federalist Society, so that's not
he
good.
is? Dang, no, that's not good. Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, unbelievable. So now I can't load websites. So it's like either I don't have Wi-Fi or I can't load websites because for some reason our other Wi-Fi doesn't load websites, but it streams well. Yeah. Unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking Germany technology. People think that Germany is like this wealthy place with it's like, you know, super advanced, and no, it's like literally shit when it comes to anything related to technology.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, seriously, dude. It looks poor. It feels poor. It's like it seriously feels like America in 2005 with respect to internet speeds and stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a member of I can't even load a website right now. Yet I'm streaming. So he's a member of Federalist Society. He went to Baylor, so that sucks.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Got an MBA.
Kidding, Baylor Bears. Just kidding. We love y'all. Truly, we love y'all. Love y'all to death. So
worked at JCPenney, based in Red Pill JCPenney.
Yeah, he did. I knew that actually somehow. I don't know. I knew that.
I hid from my mom when I was a kid. I hid from my mom in one of those circular clothing racks.
I used to do that all the time, man. Yeah.
But she ended up calling the police and everything. It was like,
oh, really?
It was like a whole massive mall wide search for me. I don't know about mall, but like JCPenney wide search for me. And they found me because I was giggling inside the circular clothes rack.
You know what my mom did? She left my ass. I was in JCPenney there hiding in the middle, and she just took off and left. So I had to go walking around the mall all crying, oh, where's my mom? And I had to find her. Child abuse nowadays, man. That's child abuse. So
totally, man.
But it taught me a good lesson. I'll tell you that, dear listener. It taught me a really good lesson. So all
right. Well, so what we've learned about Paxton. Sorry, Dan. I wouldn't. Maybe this is his moment, but Federalist Society for me is immediately suspect.
Yeah, I agree. You know, Ted Cruz is a member of the Federalist Society. He has been for like 30 years, man, since he was in Harvard Law School. Yeah.
This is something else I wanted to talk about. Like, I heard Ted Cruz, it's like a week or so ago, making these shit tier. Dude, I am so sick of these shit tier arguments coming from people on the right. It's like, you know, Ted Cruz is supposed to be one of the brains of our time, you know? And let me see. Let's see. It was, let me see if I can find it. No, it's buried in my show prep. And again, the website won't load anyways. But Ted Cruz, he was like examining somebody this week, or not examining, but it's in one of these like
confirmation hearing. Yeah.
Pathetic, you know, hearings, congressional hearings. And he was like, oh, I remember what it was. It was with Pete Buttigieg.
Okay.
It was his confirmation hearing. And it was about the shutting down of the Keystone Pipeline, Keystone XL pipeline. And Pete Buttigieg was like, you know, we're going to take a lot of these jobs, and, you know, they're going to be new jobs. And then Ted Cruz's response to that is, so somebody else is going to have those jobs. And he's like, we hope to create a lot of other jobs that are also high-paying union jobs. And then Ted Cruz just moves on from there. I'm just like, dude, how the fuck, like, do you not know how to respond to that? Like, I swear to God, Russ, it was as if Ted Cruz just like sort of casually walked in there, hadn't even thought or even considered anything that he was about to say, any sort of preparation at all. So somebody else is going to have those jobs? Like, what the hell kind of like, maybe some of the same people do. How about making an argument of like, hey, Pete, do you fundamentally disagree with destroying someone's source of income?
Yeah.
Should they have to move? What are your ideas on compensating from that? What moral authority do you have to destroy someone else's job?
Yeah.
Do big tech companies have a right to control their property? This is the leftist new favorite little argument is, hey, they're private companies. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, that used to be the right. It's funny how these arguments flip sides, isn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Like,
sorry.
Motherfucker, I'm going to screen cap that. Next time you start bitching about ExxonMobil laying pipe in the Gulf, I'm going to be screen capping your own comment about that.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, where the fuck is Ted Cruz on something like this?
It's a good question, man.
You know, like, how do you have such shit to your argumentation? You're supposed to be this amazing debater, this amazing lawyer, the brain of our time, and it's so someone else is gonna have those jobs. Like, no moral argument, no like property rights argument. Just his main qualm is, just like someone else is going to be employed. Like, that's it. You know, it's like, dude, this is like, we're in trying times right now, and our politicians on the right are absolutely failing us in every single respect. And Paxton may be having his moment, but if they have Federalist Society stamped next to their name, I'm like, whatever. I'll see it when I believe it. And I better see it for consistently for a long time.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more, man. Federalist Society is on cuck watch. I wouldn't call them on cuck alert, but cuck watch for sure.
Cuck warning.
Yeah, cuck warning. Yeah. we're at level orange on the Federalist Society, dear listener. Level orange. So Heritage Society, same way. Every right-wing institution right now is on watch, dear listener. And it you know, it's really good because the Republican Party, those of us on the ground, are doing the work. And so this is good. But I want to stay on this Ted Cruz thing. It is disappointing, Luke, and I did not catch that. There was another Ted Cruz disappointment that I heard. It was on Friday. He was on the God Tier Rick Roberts show. And all of the arguments that he made about everything were just talking points that everybody knows already about everything. You name it, about impeachment, about executive orders, about Democrat legislation, how they're trying to enshrine permanent voting cheating. It was all just bullet point, boilerplate verbiage that we all know already, dear listener. Again, as I said in bots number 26, when Luke and I went to that Trump rally in October of 2019, I learned how much we all know. We're in the know. We don't need Ted Cruz to explain platitudes to us, to just say shit that is just like what Lindsey Graham would say. It was very disappointing. And for the thinker of our age in the Republican Party, in the mega movement, in the conservative movement, I expect more Ted Cruz, frankly. And I agree with you, Luke. Ted Cruz has got to step his game up. And Ted Cruz, I can promise you this. You're going to make a run in 2024 for presidency. You keep it up like this, you've got no chance, man. You've got no chance within your own party. You've got no chance. So you need to get back to that earlier Ted Cruz when you first grew the beard and got your power level back, right? You got your power level up and now you're starting to cuck again, right? You're getting used to the power of the beard. Maybe it's time for you to shave it off and get your power level back again. But this is not going to work, Ted Cruz. It's not going to work.
I was going to say, man, he's got kind of a Wolverine look going on. Like,
he does a little bit. Yeah, he does
like
a little bit.
Maybe like a, kind of a washed up Texas country guitarist.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
I've got his audio pulled up if you want to listen to it for a minute or two.
Yeah, absolutely. The Booty Judge audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah.
All right. Let me share my screen. We are so sophisticated, not boomers.
So not boomers, dear listeners. So not boomers. We might boomer out here and there, but not that often. So
all right, here we go. You ready?
All right, yeah, let's do it.
Mr. Buttigieg, congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you.
Oh, congratulations, Buttigieg. Yeah.
The Department of Transportation has responsibility for infrastructure, has a major role concerning jobs, and has responsibility for ensuring safety. I am hopeful that if you're confirmed your tenure, we will see material advances on all three. I will say it was disconcerting to see yesterday, the first day of the Biden administration, straight out of the gate, President Biden announced that he was canceling the Keystone Pipeline. That is a major infrastructure project. That is a project that right now today has 1,200 good-paying union jobs. And in 2021, the Keystone Pipeline was scheduled to have more than 11,000 jobs, including 8,000 union jobs, for contracts worth $1.6 billion. And with the stroke of a pen, President Biden has told those 11,000 workers, those union workers, your jobs are gone. Mr. Buttigieg, what do you say to those workers whose jobs have just been eliminated by presidential edict?
Well, I think the most important thing is to make sure that we make good on the promise of the president's climate vision as being one that on net creates far more jobs, millions, we hope. I know that won't just happen. We'll have to do a lot of work to make sure that's real. But getting this right means ensuring that there are more good paying union jobs for all Americans delivered through that infrastructure.
What a dumbass.
So for those workers, the answer is somebody else will get a job?
The answer is that we are very eager to see those workers continue to be employed in good paying union jobs, even if they might be different ones.
Well, I fear that decision is the front end of a whole series of regulatory decisions, one after the other, that will be eliminating union jobs, that will be eliminating manufacturing jobs, that will be eliminating.
Okay. Can you stop it for me? Yeah, thank you, sir. Okay. First of all, dear listener, this is entirely indicative of the kid gloves with which the Republican Party have been treating all of Biden's nominees. Okay. Look at this, right? This is kitten paws, right? They're going to get every single appointment they want because the Republicans are not going to ask them the hard questions. The hard questions. Like, for example, with Buttigieg, I would ask him, first and foremost, why was your mayor? You think you deserve to be Secretary of Transportation? Well, why did you fail so badly as a mayor? Why did in South Bend, Indiana? Why did South Bend crime rise? You think that you deserve this presidential appointment? Why could you not run a town as mayor, right? What was it about your presidential run that failed? Why was it that you lost to President Biden? That's not really appropriate, but I'd find a way to ask it anyway, right? And don't just rubber stamp these sons of bitches. Try to eliminate them the same way that they eliminated every single Trump appointment. Well, they tried to, but they couldn't because we had a majority in the Senate at that point. Don't treat these people with kid gloves ever, man. That's Buttigieg right there. He's a disgrace and he's a dumbass, right? An absolute dumbass. So, end rant. Sorry about that, man. So
no, it's all good. I mean, I would be asking him the question. So do you feel as the what is this for? His transportation
Secretary of Transportation, yeah.
Transportation Secretary. I say, so do you feel as though Transportation Secretary, you have the moral authority to destroy someone's way of life,
right?
Force them into a new job, and destroy their career prospects and force them into a career in which they have no experience, out of a career in which they may have a decade or 2 decades experience? Do you feel as the Transportation Secretary, you have the moral authority to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you prepared to knock on someone's door and tell them they no longer have a job, they have to move, and they have to start their career over again? Are you prepared to do that as Transportation Secretary?
Yep. Those are the hard hitting. Yeah. questions. I was just trying not to plagiarize you, bro. Speaking of Biden. Yeah, you'd mentioned that before. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Yeah. And yet here you have Ted Cruz going, I fear that this is just a long line of regular Ted Cruz. This has nothing to do with fear. This is but one component of a long line of regulatory. This has been going. Keystone Pipeline has been going on for 10 years. This debate.
Yeah.
This isn't the start of something. This isn't the start of anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would even double down on that. I would say, we've got people. This debate's been going. The left has been, the Democrat Party they've spent 10 years trying to destroy the Keystone Pipeline project. Billions of dollars, and the private sector have been invested in that. Are you committed to destroying tens of $billions of investment? Are you committed to destroying people who've spent 10 years building a livelihood out there with career experience, putting welders out of business? Are you prepared to do that as transportation secretary?
Right.
And then he's like, well, we're going to find them new. No. It's not about finding them new work. Are you prepared to put them out of work now?
Yeah. Right.
Force it.
And don't let him weasel his way out of, we think it's important that we stay on focus with President Biden's climate agenda and blah, 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 blah. Don't let him weasel out. Stick him to it exactly the same way that Luke just described. No, it's not about, they need to make better choices in the words of John Kerry, right? They should have made better choices and you learn to code, bro. No, put him on the spot. So you are on record saying that you are fine with 11,000 jobs being destroyed right now.
Nothing saying fine with it, but you force them to say that you are actively in support of that.
Yeah, right.
It's not like you can't just stand on the sidelines and be like, oh, I'm going to look the other way while all these jobs are destroyed. No, you are actively, you are an active player in the destruction of those jobs.
Right.
In fact, I would even say Ted Cruz. Hey, Mayor Pete, what if we could catalyze the destruction of these jobs? What would you suggest we do?
Double down on the premise. Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah.
I mean, if these jobs are immoral, if the people working these jobs, if this is immoral work, if we're destroying the planet, if we're operating on that premise, then shouldn't we want to destroy these jobs as quickly as possible? And if yes, what strategies would you have to make that happen as quickly as possible? How can we catalyze the destruction of these jobs as quickly as we possibly can? Is there anything else?
This is what you advocate, after all. How do you plan to further double down on the destruction of these jobs? Exactly.
But I just fear that this is the first in a long line of regulatory blah, blah. Ted Cruz, these people do not treat you the same way. Stop. Oh my God, dude. I can't watch anymore. I'm closing.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no need. Screw it. You know what it is though, man? I think that they got in Ted Cruz's head because he supported Donald Trump in the impeachment hearings, and he spoke up for the illegitimacy of the impeachment, right? He also supported the premise that the election was stolen, and at the very least, we need to examine it. And so now you've got this crazy shit going on, like with AOC that happened yesterday. I don't even really want to talk about that bimbo, but anyway, regarding the whole GameStop shenanigans this week, dear listener, of which there is a lot to say, but I'm not sure I want to talk about it because every single pundit in America has rinsed it out seven ways to Sunday. There's really nothing left to say about it. It is interesting. It's very interesting. But AOC calls for investigations into Robinhood, the trading platform. Ted Cruz agrees with her, and she comes out like, oh my God, I do not want to cooperate with you because you almost had me murdered 3 weeks ago. You almost had me murdered, right? And I think that they're trying to recall Ted Cruz right now. They're trying to censure him at the very least. And I think that this has gotten in his head. Ted Cruz, no. You do not bow to this leftist pressure. You do not. You refuse it. You refuse to acknowledge it. And if they come and censure you, then you bring it to them. So anyway,
here's the problem with Ted Cruz. He he tries to maintain this sort of like, let's fly above the fray, right?
He
Let's
does.
stay above the fray. I'm not going to bring it to him. I'm not going to go full Trump either. He's in the sense of very much a pragmatist. And dude, this is not going to work out well for him in the long term, either on the right or the left. I'm really concerned about who's going to run in 2024. I don't think it's going to be Trump. I know that Ted Cruz is. There's going to be a bunch of cucks in the lineup. Dude, I'm just really hoping Rand Paul steps up to the plate, and I think he is. I think he's. I am all on board with Rand Paul at this point.
At the moment, I am too.
At the moment, yeah. And he's going around.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, he's vowed to go around to every state with this. I know I've already cussed, but earmuffs, dear listener, this fuck Mark Elias going around to every state. Rand Paul is and having them sort out all of the shit that Mark Elias did in the months leading up to this election, which is suing all those states and then causing them to settle and compromise on unconstitutionally in accordance with the state legislatures, their own state constitutions, settle out of court. But the state legislatures weren't doing it. It was other people in those state governments who are having to settle out of court with Mark Elias and Perkins Coie.
Right.
And basically corrupted. He sued, if not all the states, almost every state, even states which the left had no chance in winning, like Texas. And he compromised the vote in many of those states. And when I say compromise the vote, what I mean is that they compromise the integrity of the vote itself. So no more signature matching, address verification, anything like that. And this was the chief problem which happened to Georgia.
Yeah.
And now Rand Paul has said that he's going around to all these states, and he's like, no, fuck that. I'm going to every one of these states. I'm going to unfuck the situation.
Yeah.
And Rand Paul is the only one who's doing anything to stand up for our country.
Yeah, he is.
Ted Cruz isn't doing shit. At least if he is, I don't know about it. I haven't seen anything that he's done. I can't find anything he's doing. The only person I can find doing anything is Rand Paul.
Same here. Yeah. Josh Hawley is speaking platitudes, but he's not really doing anything. You know what I mean? But no, Rand Paul is doing the work. He is. So, and it is a relief, dear listener. And man, I'm trying to get this Daily Wire piece pulled up. It's asking me to solve a CAPTCHA, and I'm on my third CAPTCHA now. CAPTCHA sucks, dear listener. Here's the populist revolt. We revolt against CAPTCHA. You heard? So anyway, Luke, sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, no, I was going to say Russ hates CAPTCHA.
I hate CAPTCHA, man. Okay, I you know what? I'm not doing it. Okay, I'm not doing it. So
I was going to say I've got the Rand Paul George Stephanopoulos Rand Paul audio as well.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. I've watched that a bunch of times. Rand Paul roasted him, dude. Absolutely roasted him. Yeah, let's listen to that, man.
All right, cool. All right, coming right up.
All right.
Man, this is cool. I'm never the one that gets to do audio. I'm privileged. I'm audio privileged.
This week, yes, you are.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Rand Paul, George Stephanopoulos coming up, dear listener.
I'll keep working on this article too, dear listener. All right. Let's hear it, Luke.
The threshold question for you. This election was not stolen. Do you accept that fact?
Establishing premises straight out of the gate. The left does this all the time.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Also, Luke, there is a more insidious implication here, and it goes this way. Will you bend the knee right now, or do we have to call you a white supremacist? Basically, it's a subliminal threat. In other words, are you going to supplicate and just say, yes, it was a fair and square election right now, right out of the gate? Question one. Go on, man. Sorry about that.
All good.
Well, what I would say is that the debate over whether or not there was fraud should occur. We never had any presentation in court where we actually looked at the evidence. Most of the cases were thrown out for lack of standing, which is a procedural way of not actually hearing the question. There were several states in which the law was changed by the Secretary of State and not the state legislature. To me, those are clearly unconstitutional. And I think there's still a chance that those actually do finally work their way up to the Supreme Court. Courts traditionally and historically don't like to hear election questions. But yes, were there people who voted twice? Were there dead people who voted? Were there illegal aliens who voted? Yes, and we should get to the bottom of it. I'll give you an example. In my state, when we had a Democrat Secretary of State, she refused, even under federal order, to purge the rolls of illegal voters.
True story.
Republican Secretary of State, and he purged the rolls.
Senator Paul, I have
make a difference, and those things
I have to stop you there.
I have to stop you there. I just have to stop you there. All right, sorry, man. Yeah.
No. I was going to let you go on.
Yeah, I just was going to clown it. That's all. That's all I had. Fuck Daily Wire. Okay, I'm going to say it. Fuck Daily Wire. Fuck Ben Shapiro. Fuck Daily Wire. Fuck CAPTCHA, and fuck Google. Pardon my French, dear listener. I give up on Daily Wire, but I know what the article said anyway, so I will quote it to you after we get through this clip. Sorry about that, Luke. Go on.
Russ, I don't know what race Russ hates more, CAPTCHA or Podbean.
Probably CAPTCHA, I have to say. Probably CAPTCHA. So, yeah.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Filed by President Trump and his allies in court, all were dismissed. Every state certified the results after investigations, after investigations, counts, and recounts. The Department of Justice, led by William Barr, said there's no widespread evidence of fraud. Can't you just?
That is a false statement.
That is a false statement. Yes,
they said up until now we have not observed enough that could overturn the election. Up until now, he had so many qualifying statements in this. George Stephanopoulos is a liar.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes.
God, if you get your news from mainstream media and only mainstream media, you are a low information human being.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're bottom feeder, dear listener. There are so many other more intelligent places with which to get your information. So many others. So yeah.
Okay. So let's see. So Rand Paul should just call him out and say, you are straight up lying. Why are you not telling the truth? You're twisting Barr's words to fit your agenda. Let's see how Rand Paul responds to this.
Let's do.
Say the words. This election was not stolen.
I would suggest.
Oh, no. Speak the words.
Yeah.
This election was not stolen.
Exactly. Bend the knee. Speak the words. That's, dear listener, that's what healing means. That's what unification means. You accept their premise that the election wasn't stolen, or else. Yep. That's what it means. Yeah.
This isn't a and so, okay. So let's hear how Rand Paul. Let's see. Yeah.
What I would suggest is that if we want greater confidence in our elections, and 75% of Republicans agree with me, is that we do need to look at election integrity, and we do need to see if we can restore confidence in the elections.
Almost there.
Almost there.
Almost
except
there.
Except I would have flipped it. I said, so George, are you not curious, George?
Yeah.
Are you?
Your guy won, right? Don't you want to? We have a credible accusation here. Don't you want to defend it? Don't you want to BTFO us in logical debate? Right?
Or I'd say so. Yeah, or just straight flip it on him and say, so do you not want to look into election integrity? Integrity? Are you not concerned about that?
Yeah.
You're against that.
Yeah.
100% of Republicans agree with you because they were fed a big lie by President Trump and his supporters to say the election was stolen. Why can't you say?
Well, I think where you make a mistake.
Okay, stop right here, Luke. Stop right here. Okay. Yes. We all know the election was stolen. Okay. But you see how the conversation has all the way gone to 11 on the dial, dear listener. We're no longer talking about voter fraud and election fraud anymore. We're going to the superfluous, furthest conclusion that now we have grayed this area between election irregularities, which is all that Rand Paul has said so far. These laws that were changed, that's certainly not constitutional, and that is very irregular, and that needs to be examined by the Supreme Court, and it is not. Now where George Stephanopoulos doubles down, and we're talking about full-on election fraud, or rather stolen election, okay? Rand Paul never said anything about a stolen election. George Stephanopoulos did, right? Look at how they're very slippery, dear listener. Look at how they do this all the time. Sorry, Luke. What you got about that? Speaking of,
I mean, I get your point, but I don't think they're slippery. I think it's the opposite. I think they're totally attached to their own little narrative, and that's it. And they won't slip at all. They won't slide at all. They won't to the extent that you don't slip, then they just turn the volume up. They're like, you better slip or I'm going to turn the volume up.
We're saying
the same thing in different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and hey, by the way, in the comments, we got Psycho Speak. Welcome back, Psycho Speak. It's good to see you. Rand Paul 2020. Damn right, sir. Carrying on the tradition of unique hair. Boy, he does have a head of hair, does he not, Psycho Speak? Yeah. Yeah. So,
first of all, Russ, I just want to say, how dare you project male onto Psycho Speak?
You're right, Psycho Speak. My bad. Sorry about that, Zier. I am so sorry. Truly, my bad. Right, and I stand corrected, and I bend the knee and fully admit my malfeasance and assumption of gender pronouns. My bad. My bad.
Psycho Speak clearly has chosen a gender neutral name.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, my bad, Psycho Speak. If I have offended thee, I am really sorry. Truly, truly I am. So, but thank you for being here, Psycho Speak, nonetheless. So
yeah. Thanks for joining us. Should we go on or move on?
Yeah, we're kind of we got a GBS going on here, man. It's been a long time. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, dude, I like it. We got video and all. This is great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Psycho Speak says, I identify as a zero gravity listener, but that's it.
Oh, well, Psycho Speak, indeed.
Well,
that is so gratifying and humbling. Thank you, Psycho Speak. Oh,
and these hallowed halls, we are zero gravity gender, so you can be whatever you want.
That's right. Yeah. You're a zigum, Psycho Speak, zigum. So yeah. When we speak of you, Psycho Speak, we will not speak of he or she, him or her. We'll speak of zigum. Right? You good with that?
You can float weightlessly between genders.
Oh, Psycho Speak, you're so badass. Thank you so much. So you've created a new meme, Psycho Speak. Well done.
Zigum. So, yeah,
Zigum. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
All right.
George, where you make a mistake is that people coming from the liberal side like you immediately say everything's a lie instead of saying there are two sides to everything. Historically, what would happen is if I said that I thought there was fraud, you would interview someone else who said there wasn't. But now you insert yourself in the middle and say the absolute fact is that everything I'm saying is a lie.
Well, because, Senator, I said what the president said was a lie because he said, hold on a second.
You know what's interesting is that, you have this. All right. So in science and law, right, you're like, if you assert a positive, the onus is upon you to prove that to be true. Right. So if you're the one who says if everyone accepts that the sky is blue, right, and obviously, okay, we've got like philosophical already discussions right straight out of the gate. So, well, if it's cloudy, it's gray, but you get the point. Like, if we say the sky is blue, right, and now we know there's scientific reasons as to why the sky is blue, but if someone comes out and says, no, it's not blue, it's green, I say, okay, well, everybody agrees upon the fact that the sky is blue. We've identified it as such, and blue comes through in this color for these reasons. Why does it appear green to you? Then they have to therefore assert, or here, let me think of a better example. Like that person would have to assert, like, okay, well, it's green, and here's why, and then we can go through the science as to why it appears green to them, but not green to others, and everyone else it's blue. But still, the onus is not upon you to have to prove that the sky is not green, right?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in the same thing as like in the existence of God debate, if someone says, well, if God exists, well, the onus is upon them to prove that God exists, not the other way around.
Right.
Because of what we can actually observe and see in reality. And what they're doing right now here, Rand Paul and George Stephanopoulos are arguing over who has to prove the positive.
Yeah. Yes. You're absolutely right. Yes.
Rand Paul made a mistake by saying, no, I'm asserting the positive and you're just saying I'm lying. When actually it's the opposite. George Stephanopoulos was asserting the positive being that you guys are all lying. and that election fraud didn't happen. And Rand Paul's trying to take a measured approach as let's investigate that and figure out if it did or it didn't.
Right.
And then George Stephanopoulos is making the assertion, no, you guys are lying.
Yeah, that's right.
Rand Paul should be then taking the position of let's investigate and figure out who's lying. Instead, he's going, no. You're lying. You just come out and always say we're lying. And then he comes out and says, no, blah, blah, blah. Like, if we go back a little bit, you can hear them going back and forth between like, no, you're lying. No, you're lying. And it becomes into this whole bullshit back and forth of them getting caught up in each other's traps of, no, you're lying. And neither of them can prove each other wrong because neither of them are proving a positive.
Right.
Like, listen.
Is that everything I'm saying is a lie?
Well, because Senator, I said what the president said was a lie because he said, hold on a second. He said the election was stolen. This election was not stolen. The results were certified in every single state.
Okay,
recount.
Go ahead.
That absolutely you're saying there was no fraud and it's all been investigated.
So George Stephanopoulos is like, no, you're saying that President Trump said it was all lying, blah, blah, blah. And like, they're just not getting anywhere because they're not talking about like, okay, how do you know that?
Yeah. Right.
That's right. We have there's enough evidence on this side to cause questions. I'm saying those questions need to be investigated. And then George Stephanopoulos goes right back around saying, no, we're not investigating that. You're lying.
Yep.
That's asserting a positive.
Yep.
If you say someone else is lying, you're the one that's asserting a positive.
Yep. That's right.
So
that's right.
Rand Paul turns around and says, no, you're lying. And then he asserts a positive. And then they get into this argument about, no, I want to be the one asserting I want to be the one asserting the positive. Rand Paul should have just said to him, how do you know I'm lying?
Yeah. Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Argument's
Prove to me.
Finished.
Yeah. Don't you want to know the truth about what happened in the election? Let's investigate. Let's be intellectually curious about this. Right. You know that you won. Right. You know that the election wasn't stolen. Let's look into it. Let's look at the receipts, in the words of Steve Bannon. But Luke, he also does a particularly slimy thing here. That's Stephanopoulos, that is, okay? He moves the goalposts, right? And he now sets it up because nobody has established the affirmative ground at this point in time. He moves the goalposts and charges Rand Paul to defend Donald Trump's statements about the election was stolen. Rand Paul never said that, dear listener. He's definitely not said it in this interview. But now he's got that hung around his neck that George Stephanopoulos assumes that he will defend, rightfully, because the left do this all the time. They hang a false premise around your neck. They charge you for somebody else's words. They charge you for somebody else's deeds, and they expect you to defend it, right? Luke is exactly right. What should have happened right here is Rand Paul comes out and says, I'm not lying. You are lying. I did not say this. Prove your case. Prove your case. Right?
Yeah. I would have stopped him right there and said, no, this isn't about anything Trump said. You affirmatively said the election was not stolen.
Yeah. Right. Prove it. Yeah.
I would have just said that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You have no case if you're not able or willing to affirmatively prove your case right here and now.
Yeah.
And then he's going to fall back, but Barr said blah, blah, blah. Right. Yeah, okay, right. Well, now you did actually lie about that, and I can prove it.
All of them were not heard by a court. That's not evidence, dear listener. That is proof that evidence has been obfuscated. It's what that is, right? Because the evidence has never been presented, right? Easy answers. George Stephanopoulos, in other words, Luke, if I may assume that this is what you mean, he can't prove that case. He cannot, right? None of the left can. Yeah.
Nobody can prove it one way or the other, and that's the whole point.
Right.
Because it never went to court.
Yep, that's right.
Like, you're going to be on the right and be discussing this. You have to be honest with yourself as well. And when I say you, I don't mean you, Russ. I mean us in general.
Right.
Like, we have to be honest with ourselves and say, like, we have strong suspicion based upon many, many different things that occurred, but it never saw the light of day in court.
Yep.
So we can't say either. And why? Those are the questions. Why can't we say? Those are the real questions we should be asking. But don't for a moment let them on the other side get away with, oh, you're lying. It wasn't stolen.
There's no evidence. Dear listener, there's a shit ton of evidence. In fact, there is a shit ton of it, you know.
But that's as egregious a statement to say the other side, which is to say, I know 100% it was so. Do I honestly think it was? Yeah, absolutely. But like, it has to go in front of a court, an honest court, you know, for us to definitively say that without question.
Or actually a legislative body with the responsibility to uphold constitutional law. It could have gone there too, but those were all blocked as well as the courts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those were blocked just as well. So yeah.
Yeah. But you know, they say that, so they use this as sort of like a shield. They can say, oh, well, you're lying. You know, it never made it to court for X, Y, and Z reason. Well, no, it didn't make it to court. But as a result of that, you also can't say that it wasn't stolen.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Because in doing so, in the absence of some sort of legislative body or a court ruling, you're pulling the same shit.
Yep. That's right, man. That's right. Yep. Absolutely correct.
So, okay. Do we move on?
Yeah, man. Let's go ahead and GBS, dear listener. There are numerous new to the trail. Okay. GBS means grab bag special. What this means is that Luke and I jump into an audio clip. Our intent for this is to make the right better, to make our fellow riders better, our compatriots better, right? By picking apart their arguments and BTFOing and destroying those of the left. Grab bag special, just like what you would think at a fast food restaurant. It's just a grab bag special. That's what it is. And so we are GBSing this clip right here. And Luke, I'm enjoying this, man. It's been a really long time since we have an honest GBS, man. I say we continue a little bit. What do you think, man?
Yeah, dude, let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
That's just not true.
It's not what I said, sir. I said the Department of Justice found no evidence. Let me finish my point.
You said
something that was not true.
You say we're all liars. You're just simply saying we're all liars. And
I said it was a lie that the election was stolen.
Premise that you're right and we're wrong. Well, let's talk about the specifics of it. In Wisconsin,
again.
Yeah. But he's about to get there. Spoiler, dear listener, Luke and I have seen this clip. You probably have too. Okay, he's about to get there. He's about to put some runs on the board. All right, sorry, Luke.
Tens of thousands of absentee votes had only the name on them and no address. Historically, those were thrown out. This time they weren't. They made special accommodations because they said, oh, it's a pandemic and people forgot what their address was. So they changed the law after the fact. That is wrong. That's unconstitutional. And I plan on spending the next 2 years going around state to state fixing these problems. And I won't be cowed by liberals in the media who say, there's no evidence here and you're a liar if you talk about election fraud. No, let's have an open debate. It's a free country.
There's no widespread evidence of election fraud that overturned the results. That was
bullshit.
Now he's getting more close to what Barr actually said. I guess he didn't forget. He was just lying.
Right.
I would have just stopped him right there. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Oh, now suddenly it all comes back, right? Because you almost got what Barr actually said. So were you just lying before, or did you just now remember?
Right.
I would have just interrupted him right there.
Yeah, totally.
God, dude, I want to be on TV someday and just fucking destroy somebody. I get that's like my wet dream, my fantasy is just to obliterate somebody on TV.
Right.
Just humiliate them to the point where I never get invited on TV ever again.
Yeah, man. That's how it's done right there.
Yeah.
As well by the Department of Justice led by President Trump's Attorney General. In Wisconsin, there were counts and recounts.
Actually, it was never studied. Even that's not true. Even that's not true.
William Barr said that directly.
Barr said that, but there was, yes, he said that. Yes, that was a pronouncement. There has been no thorough examination of all the states to see what problems we had and see if they could fix them. Now, let me say, to be clear, I voted to certify the state electors because I think it would be wrong for Congress to overturn that. But at the same time, I'm not willing just to sit here and say, oh, everybody on the Republican side is a liar and there is no fraud. No, there were lots of problems and there were secretaries of state who illegally changed the law, and that needs to be fixed. And I'm going to work hard to fix it. And I won't be cowed by people saying, oh, you're a liar. That's the problem with the media today, is they say all Republicans are liars and everything we say is a lie. There are two sides to every story. Interview somebody on the other side, but don't insert yourself into the story to say we're all liars because we did some fraud in the election.
They're not two.
I would have just said, and it would be nice, George, if you also stood for the law.
Yeah.
Just end it there. You don't need to go on about, and but I'm not going to be cowed, blah blah blah. I would just say, and George, it would be nice if you also stood for the law.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you stood for the law and proper journalism, which he is about to call him back on. But Luke, could you back us up for 5 seconds, please? This next Stephanopoulos statement is revelatory. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah. And I would say, dude, I would even, oh man, if I really wanted to twist the knife, I would say, in Georgia, it'd be good if you stood for the law, if for nothing more than in the name of everybody who has given their lives to make sure that our votes are sovereign.
Right.
In battle.
Patriotism argument. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Which is not an argument. It's
a fact.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
There are two sides to every story. Interview somebody on the other side, but don't insert yourself into the story to say we're all liars because we did some fraud in the election.
There are not two sides to the story. This has been looked at in every.
Behold the modern left. Dear listener, there are not two sides to this story. Dear listener, there are two sides to every story. That's why in every court case, there is a prosecution and a defense. That's why in every debate, there is an affirmative and a negative, right? One side wins, one side loses. There are always at least two sides to every story, but two can be credibly argued, and the left just denies this, right? There are not two sides to the story. Do you know why that is, dear listener? Do you want to know why that is? Because they expect you to abandon your side of the story. Full throat, you abandon it. Go ahead, Luke. Sorry.
Yeah, there's our side. That's it.
That's it.
That's unity.
Bend the knee. Yeah, unity. Yeah, that countdown to unity. You bend the knee. You give up your perspective. You give up your side of the story. You give up your view, or we're going to destroy you. There are not two sides to this story. He just said it, dear listener. That's how they all think now. That's how they all think. Our whole perspective, our whole side of the story must be destroyed, right? Man, it's really chilling when you think about it, Luke. I mean, it really is, because, for example, think about this. You, as a moral, ethical, rational human being, would you ever deny the left their side of the story? Ever? You'd BTFO them, but would you deny its existence outright? Ever?
I mean, the existence as such? No, absolutely not.
Right? Yeah. Never.
I mean, I would deny them. I would deny them any sort of moral high ground, but that's
sure. And credibility. Sure. Absolutely.
I would deny them epistemologically.
Sure.
But I would not deny the existence of the argument as such. I mean, to do so is just pure evasion.
Right. Metaphysically, that's what this is, Luke. It is a metaphysical denial of another side to the story. A metaphysical denial. This is religion at this point, right? It is religion. So
yeah, dude. Couldn't have said it better. By the way, Russ, I just had a personal emergency that it's fixed now.
Oh, okay. What happened?
Forgot to turn my on-air sign on, dude.
Damn. I noticed that the show got better all of a sudden, just like that. It was when you turned the on-air sign on, man. Good. Yeah. We're good again, man. We're great.
Russ
again.
And I have certain rituals.
Yeah.
That's going to be the top pay tier of ZGM, zerogravitymedia.locals.com will be access to our rituals.
Yeah.
There's certain rituals before the show. Usually it starts out with an argument over chat.
Yeah.
Then us getting on voice chat and pretending like that argument never happened.
Yeah, pretty much like that. Pretty much.
Then talking about the show. Then 30 minutes of, I need to sup up. Oh, let me turn this on. Oh, I got to do that. And then we do the show.
Yeah. There are other more personal rituals. Dear listener, we have said some of these in previous HSP episodes. And if you go back and you find them and you call them up, we'll let you know if that's a ritual or not. How about that? So but you're going to have to dig hard. Dear listener, you're going to have to dig hard. So
Easter eggs. I mean, I think our average show length If you consider all, I mean, we do like hour and a half to 2 hour shows now. So I think, and in total, our average show length is probably about 3 hours.
About like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you probably got about 350 hours of audio to sift through, looking for those Easter eggs.
Right.
Some of it's not very good audio because we didn't know how to produce.
In the beginning, man. Yeah, it was a struggle. So it wasn't a struggle. It was a learning experience. That's what it was. It was a journey. It was a journey, man. So
Yeah, indeed.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, dude. Let's do one more drop and then go to break because we're at an hour and 15. How does that sound?
1 point to make after this last drop, and then yes, let's go to break. So all right.
Here we go.
Single state. The
Oh, sure there are.
Certified
There
in
are
every
two sides to every
state.
story. George, you're forgetting who you are. You're forgetting who you are as a journalist. If you think there's only one side, you're inserting yourself into the story to say I'm a liar because I want to look at election fraud and I want to look at secretaries of state who illegally changed the voter laws without the permission of their state legislatures. That is incontrovertible. It happened. And you can't just sweep that under the rug and say, oh, nothing to see here. And everybody's a liar and you're a fool if you bring this up. You're inserting yourself into the story. A journalist would hear both sides, and there are two sides of this story.
I'm standing by facts. There are not two sides to facts. I did not say that this was a perfect election. I said the results were certified. I said it was not stolen.
I would just say at this point, like, you should be ashamed of yourself, and I'm wasting my time with you.
Yeah,
I would just say that.
Yeah. I'd unlapel, I'd unclip, mic drop, and be like, "You're dishonest. I'm not discussing anything with you. Don't ever have me back." Yeah,
it's like you know. And I would even maybe before I did that, I'd be like, if you are an audience member listening to this, stop wasting your time and go listen to something else because this man is so dishonest that he is a waste of your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
All right. What was that one point you wanted to make, Russ?
It was this, that Daily Wire article that I was trying to call up a minute ago, dear listener, and I got really pissed off about. And by the way, Luke, thank you for that GBS, man. I really really enjoyed that and listening to that clip again. And dear listener, we hope you enjoyed it too. But we got into this conversation by saying that we hope that Rand Paul runs for president in 2024. I do too. He's top of the list for me right now. But I saw a Daily Wire article that I was trying to pull up, and I kept getting captured and kept getting killed here and killed there and capture cucked entirely, man. So I gave up on it. And Daily Wire apparently did a poll. Oh my God, we did a poll. Dear listener, I don't like Daily Wire. Let me just say it. Luke likes them a little bit. Ross and Kyle like Daily Wire. I don't like Daily Wire. Okay. But I read an article of theirs this week, and they talked about 2024 candidates, right? It's a little bit early. They said that they did a poll, right? And the results were something like this, dear listener. Number one was Donald Trump. In first place in their poll was Donald Trump. In second place was Mike Pence. In third place was Don Jr. In fourth place was Ted Cruz. In fifth place was, get this shit, Mitt Romney.
No.
Exactly, dude. In sixth place was Nikki Haley, even though the Daily Wire came out and said, even though she's in sixth place in our poll, oh my God, she's the strongest contender. She's the one that's going to, their article was headlined with a big smiley picture of Nikki Haley. Dear listener, I loathe Nikki Haley like I loathe Mitt Romney. Luke, it was a puff piece. I don't even believe they did a poll, man. But Rand Paul was nowhere on that list. Nowhere on that list. And so I doubt the veracity of thereof. So Daily Wire, cut it out, man. We're not buying your shit, okay? Mitt Romney and Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley actually, Luke, may be a contender. You know, she may be.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll probably. Yeah. I think she'll be a strong contender.
Yeah, I do too.
Don Jr., no. I don't think Trump's going to run. Pence is not going to be a strong
his
contender.
career is over. His political career is over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, everybody on that list is a non-starter except for Nikki Haley. And I'm not supporting her. I'm just saying that she'll probably pull the wool over a bunch of people, enough people's eyes to be a strong contender.
Yeah, she will be a contender, right? Much to my chagrin, dear listener.
Right, Psycho Speak has to go. All right, Psycho Speak, thank you for dropping in. We're about to go to audio break anyways. The audio version of the show will be up on SoundCloud at some point in the next day or two. So thank you for dropping in, Psycho Speak. We always love it when you do.
Yeah, thank you, Sigum. Thank you very much. So,
yep.
Much to my chagrin, dear listener, Fox News is in absolute. Let me not get on that right now, but they're in free fall mode right now, and to that end, they have moved Maria Bartiromo up to the slot before Tucker's, right at 7:00 Eastern time. Okay, great job this week, Maria Bartiromo. She did have on Josh Hawley this week, and she asked him, "Are you going to run for president?" Now, dear listener, presidential candidates always say, "Oh my God, no, I'm not running for president. Why would I? It's not on my radar right now. I mean, I just don't think about it. I just want to represent XYZ the best I can," right? Dear listener, he came out with a pretty convincing, affirmatively no position on it. And his stance was, no, I'm not running for president. I've got a legislative agenda. I don't have an executive agenda. I want to get this done and this done and this done. And most of all, I want to represent my constituents. And I want to do these three things because my constituents are telling me that that's what they want done. So I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to leave the Senate until these are done. Dear listener, that sounds like Josh Hawley, really in a principled way, will never run for president. That's what that sounds like to me. So, and I was convinced. Sounds
to me like in 2024.
Yeah. It was 2024 specific. To be fair, you're right about that. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It was. So.
All right, dude. Well, all right. Are we break now?
Yeah, we break now, man. Long first segment, man. But that's all good, man. I enjoyed it. We hope you did as well, dear listeners. So, Luke, we got a bit of a pickle here, man. All right. So let me throw out some potentials for you. Tucker's open last night about populism. I'm a little bit hesitant to do that, but dude, dear listener, I have to say Tucker has knocked it out of the park this week. And as I said in episode number 112, I'm still really pissed off at Tucker because he was such a brat to Sidney Powell. I'm really pissed off at him. But man, he has thrown down the good content this week. And I think it's because Maria Bartiromo is leading into his show. So Tucker knows he better step it up because Maria is the best of the best of the best, dear listener. So anyway, Luke, his open this week, it is absolutely effing superior. Oops, there it is right there. We also had the audio from Sarah Huckabee Sanders' entrance into the gubernatorial race in Arkansas. It is a 7-minute and 45-second clip. Tucker's is 15 minutes. We wouldn't be able to play all of it. Sarah Huck's video is about Sarah Huck's campaign. It's great. It's fabulous, right? But that's what it is. It's a campaign video. Luke, Tucker's is topical to Democrat malfeasance, executive orders, populism. It's jammed with content, man. So I'm going to leave it to you, man. Which of those would you like to hear at audio break?
Well, let's do Sarah Huck.
Okay. All right. We will do it. All right. Dear listener, let me back this up to the beginning. And we are going to roll with Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Oh, man, my girl. Dear listener, I love Sarah Huckabee Sanders so much. I'm going to be contributing mightily to her campaign. She is my girl, boy. She is my girl. My favorite press secretary of all time. So, yeah.
And before we before we go into break, hit up. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Zero Gravity Med. You can find me on Gab at Cool Hand Lukefer, LUKEFAHR. Find Russ on Parler at Russ ZGM, and join our locals community. That's zerogravitymedia.locals.com. We are very excited about building that community out. If you do want to support the show, don't support us if you cannot afford it. We do not want anybody damaging themselves financially. Only support it if we really push your values and you're happy with what we do. But yeah, let's jump into it, dude. And I'm gonna and Dearson, we're doing a little live production right now. So let's see if I can. Russ, this is 15 seconds of music that I'm gonna bring in and hopefully time this right. I don't know if I can or not, but
all right. It's all good. All right. So drop it on back before you know it. All right. You ready?
Yeah. Let's do it. And here we go.
All right, dear listener, Luke and I are halfway down this 113-mile trek. We were having so much fun. We hope you're having just as much fun. We just had a GBS for the first time in a long time. Hope you enjoyed it. Luke and I are going to refresh Bev's, take care of business, and we will be back at you before you know it. Did you do it?
Yeah.
Damn it. I didn't hear it.
No? I thought
No.
hold on.
You gotta turn the audio.
Maybe I didn't share. Maybe I didn't. Oh man. Okay. See, here's here's what it is, man. We just cannot, for the life of us, escape our eternal boomer status. Sad part is I'm not even. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna.
All right. And Luke and I will be back at you before you know it.
The pitch black of night with no lights on the plane or runway. Air Force One touched down in war-torn Iraq. Nearby, hundreds of troops had gathered at a remote military base in the desert to celebrate Christmas. They expected to be joined by senior military leadership, but instead got their commander-in-chief. The room erupted. A young soldier yelled from the back of the room, "Mr. President, I re-enlisted in the Army because of you." And the president replied, "And son, I'm here because of you." That soldier then came over to me and said, "Thank you, Sarah. I love the way you handle yourself. You have a tough job." I politely corrected him and told him thanks. But I take questions. You take bombs and bullets. That's a tough job. The soldier silently reached up and tore the Brave Rifles patch from his arm and handed it to me and said, "We're in this together." Overwhelmed with emotion and speechless, I just hugged him with tears in my eyes and a grateful heart for our heroes who keep us free. America is great because we are free. But today, our freedom and the rule of law are under attack. I was the first White House press secretary to require Secret Service protection because of a credible, violent threat against me. We've seen violence in our streets, at a congressional baseball practice, and at our Capitol. This is not who we are as Americans. To remain free, we must have law and order and resolve our differences peacefully. The radical left solution is to impose government control and censorship from the top down. But their socialism and cancel culture will not heal America. It will only further divide and destroy us. Everything we love about America is at stake. And with the radical left now in control of Washington, your governor is your last line of defense. In fact, your governor must be on the front line. So today, I announce my candidacy for governor of Arkansas and ask for your prayers and your support. As governor, I will defend your right to be free of socialism and tyranny, your Second Amendment right to keep your family safe, and your freedom of speech and religious liberty. Our state needs a leader with the courage to do what's right, not what's politically correct or convenient. I took on the media, the radical left, and their cancel culture, and I won. As governor, I will be your voice and never let them silence you. My dad always said, the real test of a leader is not the way you handle the issues you know are coming. It's rising to the moment in a crisis you can never plan for. I've been tested under fire, successfully managing one crisis after another in one of the most difficult, high-pressure jobs in all of government. At the table with President Trump, confronting our most dangerous adversaries like China and North Korea, winning on tax cuts, the border, and judges, enduring relentless attacks, but still getting the job done. I was only the third woman and the first mom to serve as White House press secretary. And with your support, I hope to be the first woman to lead our state as governor. Arkansas is home. I grew up in Pine Bluff and Texarkana. I'm a proud graduate of Little Rock Central High and Ouachita Baptist University. My husband Brian and I started our marriage here. And this is where we chose to raise our family. Arkansas is the land of opportunity, where Sam Walton grew a little 5 and dime store into the most successful business on the face of the earth. It's the home of legends like Al Green and Johnny Cash, who pioneered a new American sound. It's where Daisy Bates and the Little Rock Nine struck a blow against racism and blazed a trail for civil rights. Arkansas is God's country, the natural state. You haven't lived until you float the clear, free-flowing waters of the Buffalo River through the Ozark Mountains, or watch the sunrise on a duck hunt in flooded green timber. I love my state and care about our people. When small businesses first took a hit at the beginning of the pandemic, I knew we had to do something to help. So my husband Brian and I launched the Arkansas 30-Day Fund to raise money from the private sector to help small businesses in every corner of Arkansas keep their doors open and save jobs. As your governor, I will not be intimidated by the serious challenges we face. I will courageously lead. I will stand with our brave law enforcement officers, promote law and order, and keep our communities safe. I will prohibit sanctuary cities and cut off funding for cities that deliberately violate immigration laws. I will fight back against the radical environmental policies, like the Green New Deal, that threaten to destroy so many jobs. I will take on the bureaucracy, reduce the cost and size of government, and make it accountable to you. I will lower the state income tax to reward hard work, allow our businesses to compete, grow, and prosper, and create more good jobs. I will champion good schools and good teachers, but also offer more choices to parents of kids in failing schools. Every child must have the opportunity of a quality education, and no child should ever be trapped in a life of poverty and despair. Our goal shouldn't be to take assistance away from the working poor, but to offer the right education and job training opportunities to incentivize work and unleash hope for a better future. We will succeed, but only if we hold the line against the attacks on our freedom and push forward with fresh ideas under a new generation of leadership. It will be a long, hard fight, and my opponents are already turning their fire on me. But here's the truth. As White House press secretary, I never had to worry about the far left and their allies at CNN or the New York Times defining me, because I have a creator who's already done that. I'm a Christian, a wife, a mom, a proud Arkansan. My opponents will do everything in their power to destroy me, but I will not apologize for who I am or who I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for you. I will not retreat. I will not surrender. And I will not bow down to the radical left. Not now, not ever. As governor, I will defend our freedom and lead with heart. I hope you will stand with me by going to sarahforgovernor.com to donate and join our movement. Thank you. May God bless America, and may God bless the great state of Arkansas.
All right, welcome back to HSP episode number 113. Waiting for my compatriot to rejoin as well. But before we go on, you can find us on zerogravitymedia.locals.com. You can find us at Zero Gravity Med on Facebook and Twitter. You can find me on Gab at Coolhand Lucifer. You can find Russ on Parler at RussZGM, although nobody can find anybody on Parler at the moment, unless you're a member of the DOJ. And before we go on, welcome back. And by the way, I've got to be a little quiet in this second segment. The three-dimensional waifu has officially gone to bed, which is just one wall over. So I can't keep her up. So anyways, if I seem a little bit refrained this second segment, I was already trying to be a little bit refrained in the first segment, but I need to be extra refrained during the segment. So yeah, I do apologize if I'm a little not low energy, but
you're never low energy, man. Yeah.
But not.
Although
not
I do have projecting. To say we collectively were a little bit low energy until you turned on the on-air sign, man, and then there was a immediate spike in the energy.
Totally,
did you notice that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
I
was able to do it with my foot actually to turn that thing on. Yeah.
That's some talent, man. That's some talent.
I went yeah. It was like some
Prehensile
kung fu shit.
Yeah. Good, man. Good. You saved the show. I appreciate that. Yep. And by the way, our ritual of rituals, I did think about this. We have not been doing that for like 2 or 3 shows now, man. We got to get back on that. And
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So
we've been clap free for weeks now.
Yeah, that's that and the other, the saying. And dear listener, if you can tell us what the saying is, you know what? We're going to do some zero gravity merch at some point in time someday. If you can tell us what the saying is, then we'll send you a free coffee mug or a t-shirt or hat or something like that. Yeah. So in the future, not yet, but we will owe you that. So yeah. So
have we said the saying on the show?
Yeah, I think we have. Yeah, I think we have. We doxed ourselves on that ritual. So
okay, well, yeah. Easter egg.
Yeah, Easter egg. Exactly. Yep. Yep. Yeah.
All right, dude. Well, what you got second segment?
Dude, I've got a lot, man. I do want to talk a little bit about some of the Democrat legislation that is on the floor right now. I kind of want to talk about this GameSpot situation a little bit. Yeah. What you got, man?
Yeah, we wanted to talk about GameSpot a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of going through my show prep right now. I mean, I don't know, man. It's like the media has become so just powerful that they just every week it's one topic. That's it.
Yeah.
Every week.
Good point, man. Good observation. It's true. Yeah.
I mean, this week it's GameSpot, so I guess we are beholden to, we're media cocks, so we're beholden to media now.
Yeah, I suppose. Ain't we all though? Ain't we all? So
by the way, dear listener, like if you could comment, if like when we play the intro music, the bumper music, the audio that we're playing, is it kind of coming through like roughly the same? I don't know. To us, it's kind of quiet, but I don't know. I mean, maybe it's, compressing it as it streams it out to YouTube. I don't know. So if anybody could comment and let us know, like if it sounds good, if it's a little quiet, not our audio, but the audio that we're playing, like Rand Paul, George Stephanopoulos, so forth.
Dearest listener has hit me up on private chat, and she says that she can hear it. She didn't say what the volume level was, other than she said, "You sound great." She said that. And she did want me to mention that I do have Sarah Huckabee Sanders' new book. And so, yes, I do, dearest listener. Thanks to a certain dearest listener, I have Sarah Huckabee Sanders' newest book, and I will be reading that before the election in 2022. Set your watch to it. So, yeah. But it is Audible. Luke, we're gonna have to fix this in post, see what it sounds like. And dear listener, we've handed the reins for numerous reasons. Luke is producing the show now, right? And doing a damn fine job, if I may say, which I do. But the workflow, dear listener, we're kind of having to invent this as we go, because we recognized the need to go to YouTube, okay, and live stream video. It's not my favorite. I don't think it's Luke's favorite either, but we had to do it. We had to grow. And but it changed our workflow. And we're kind of making this up on the fly as we go. Yeah. And it was a big step this week. Luke, well done to get the music back in, because I've been so forlorn without it, man. There's nothing that white pills me more every week than the HSP music, and that is a fact. So, and Luke produced that. By the way, dear listener, Luke, all of the music you hear on Zero Gravity Media, we produce, right? Now, Dave in Texas did the Shoe Bros, okay? He did them. But I did bots. Luke did HSP, right? And it is for reasons of copyright, dear listener. That's why.
And in the love of the creation of it. I mean,
of course. Yeah.
There's nothing. I don't know, man. I love to behold what we've created. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love to listen to the music and it just, I don't know, man. I love to behold it. It's, when you do the art, when you do the music, when you do everything, although I hired an Indian to do the art, but because you don't want me doing the art. I can do music. I can do content. I am a shit when it comes to visual art. I'm I'll go to an art museum and I can certainly spend about 2 hours staring blankly at art and go, cool. I'll tell you what, Russ, I have a funny story about this really quick.
Yeah.
Jessica and I went to an art museum in Frankfurt, and I was like, I'm going to study, the different epochs of art, and I did all that. The most exciting thing is that when you park in the parking garage at the Frankfurt Art Museum, you get a $10 gift certificate to the Hooters across the street. I swear to God.
Oh my God.
I swear to God, dude. I looked at the mark. I was like, "Oh, we get a $10 gift certificate to Hooters." And Jessica's an art history major. And he was like,
"Yeah,
what's Hooters?" And I was like, "I'll tell you what. Let's go to the art museum, work up an appetite, and then we'll go to Hooters, and then we'll learn about what that is."
Yeah.
Needless to say, we didn't go. We approached, and then she was like, "Yeah, I don't want to go there." And I was like,
"Yeah, well, yeah. That's the type of place Luke and I would go, right? Well, actually, a lot of people do take their girls there, but man, I'm surprised y'all have a Hooters there. That's fantastic, man. Worldwide.
Dude, I was too, man.
Yeah.
I was shocked, and I just think it's funny. You go to this classical art museum, and their promotion is $10 to Hooters. I was like, "Oh
man, that'll get you plate of wings." So yeah.
Talk about not knowing your market.
Yeah, right.
It's like something told me they hired like some dude that was like desperate for a marketing job, and he's like, and they're like, "So, what's your marketing plan?" And he just sort of stands up at the front of the conference room and he's like, "Hooters."
Indeed.
All the German guys are like, "Oh yeah, these are beautiful women."
Yeah.
It's like some American guy. Hooters.
Yeah.
Everybody say it with me. Hoot. Yeah, these are beautiful women.
Oh shit. Oh man. Made me cry, man. Made me cry. All right. Well, let's ride, man. All right. Dim legislation, or you want to handle this GameSpot situation?
Yeah, let's do GameSpot, dude. We're in an hour 42 right now. This is going to take a while to handle this. So
yeah, fair enough. You want me to start?
Well, yeah. I thought you were.
Okay. All right. So, dear listener, the basic gestalt of the situation is this, and it's been explained 7 ways to Sunday. I'm not going to spend much time on the background information, but this is what happened with GameSpot stock this week. Okay. At the beginning of the year, a forum, a subreddit on Reddit found called Wall Street Bets, right? Found a really harsh short position against GameSpot's stocks. Okay. Now, GameSpot is a brick and mortar game selling company. They sell games. They sell game devices, right? That's like what they do. And they've been around forever. And they're traded on the Dow. They're traded on the Dow. Okay. Well, at the beginning of the year, they were listed at about 10, their stock price. Okay. They came out at the beginning of the year announcing that they were coming out with a new VR headset and that they have been producing GameSpot games for a number of years. They kind of suck from what I understand. But they were going to make a movie. And I believe the movie was Battletoads, but don't hold me to that. I don't know that to be entirely correct. Okay. So
it's like you got to navigate your way through a mall. And
yeah, exactly.
Navigate your way through a mall. There's Karens attacking left and right.
Yeah, you got to fight Karens. Yeah, all this kind of shit. Yeah. Yep. So
there's the Journeys competing next door, and
right.
Spencer's GIF is across the way. There's a bunch of goth chicks trying to seduce your underage son.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, just so. Yeah, just so. Anyways, Wall Street Bets became very excited about GameSpot's prospectus for the year, right? And they decided to start investing in it. And they all did. And this is a collective. It's now a community, a subreddit of about 7 million. Okay. They started throwing money into GameSpot stock, right? Which was then listed at about 4 because it got short sold. Okay. Now, dear listener, a short sell is this. It's very simple. It sounds so complicated. You're betting on the downward spiral of the stock, right? You're betting that the stock price will go down. And the way that you short sell is you sign a contract with somebody who owns a certain stock, okay? You pay them a fee. You're like, okay, for this fee, I'm going to borrow your stock, and then I'm going to sell that stock because you're betting on the price going down. You sell, say, 10 shares of GameSpot, okay? You sell those 10 shares at, say, $4. You're betting on it going down to 2, okay? Well, then what you do is you buy those 10 shares back, right? And you make, in this case, a $20 profit. And you give those shares back to the original shareholder, and you've already paid them a fee for borrowing their stock. And so you just pocketed $20, okay? There are a lot of people that defend short selling. I'm agnostic on short selling in principle. I don't really like it, but that's what happened, is that Wall Street Bets learned that there were numerous short positions on GameSpot. In fact, there were more short positions on short selling positions on GameSpot than there were stocks in existence. Okay. Now they bought this honestly, right? And they bought it with fervor because they believed these people. You got to understand, dear listener, these are Bitcoin miners. They have more Bitcoin than they have cents, right? They're gamers. They're millennials and maybe some Zoomers, some Gen X as well, right? They liked the stock, but they saw an opportunity because it was being short sold so mightily that they could swoop in and drive the stock up and make some money. That was the first goal, make some money, right? A secondary goal came up in this past week that was made evident, right? They wanted to bust all of these Wall Street bankers on their short positions because, dear listener, remember, you're betting on the price going down. Well, the more stock you buy, the more the price of that stock goes up. And GameSpot did indeed this week go from about 16 per share all the way up to about 400 per share. That means that these people that have short sold at a position around 10 or at 4, okay, they borrowed this stock that they have to return to that original owner, okay, right? Well, now that to buy that stock back, to return it to the original owner, that's going to cost you 400 per share, okay? That means that you're losing, in the case of these Wall Street investors, billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars, about 70 billion in total to be fact, dear listener, 70 billion, okay? Wall Street flexed their muscle, as they always do, right? They had Robinhood, the trading platform that most of these people were using, shut down the option to buy any more GameStop stock, okay? They were frozen out of the market. Now, the industrious investors found other ways to buy more GameStop stock, and it went up again. It got banged from 400 down to about high 100s, right? Then it shoots up on Thursday morning to 75%. This means that Wall Street is in danger again, except for the fact that these hedge funds, whom have shorted this stock, had already closed their positions out, okay? So we are in an objectively unstable price discovery of this stock right now, dear listener. This has been memed 7 ways to Sunday by Maria, Rush, Steve Bannon, everybody, in terms of this is the populist revolt in terms of stock exchange, okay? It's true. That is objectively true. A collective of individuals, right, grew a hive mind and acted in concert as a collective. That's populism, okay? It is also very dangerous, and there are always consequences to populism, dear listener, okay? Because it is not individualism, individual rights, free market capitalism, right? It is collectivism. And collectivism is always intrinsically dangerous. So, Luke, after giving the background, I'm going to leave it there. I want to know your thoughts about it, man. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on it.
I do too.
You know, I think there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, this changed the fundamentals of markets. Oh, this totally disrupted how the financial, our system of investment works and the financial bullshit."
Agreed.
If you actually think that, you don't know what the dot-com bubble was. You have not seen rises and falls in the stock market.
Right.
That is horse shit. You have no idea what you're talking about. If you think that this was something new, this happened in, I actually listened to the Yarn Brook show about this, and Yarn Brook and on philosophy and stuff like this. I'm kind of, I don't listen to it because I don't like the audio quality, and it just annoys the shit out of me when I'm driving, having to turn it up and down. And it's like, the guy's got money. It's like, dude, like, please just produce your audio so I don't have to turn that shit up constantly and down. So I stopped listening to him for that reason. But when I saw he did a show on this, I was like, okay, yeah, he is an expert on this specific topic.
He is.
I listened to it. Yeah. And he said he lost $1 million in the same phenomenon as a result of Yahoo Chat in 1999.
Yeah.
And he'd invested a bunch of money. They made a bunch of money. He went short on something. He had an investor, and at $1 million, he was telling this investor, look, hold on to it, because to piggyback on everything that you're saying, like the most you can hope to win out of a short position is double.
Yep.
But the losses are in.
Yeah.
So it's a really precarious position when you start shorting stocks, right? You really better be damn sure you know what you're doing. And he was like, we shorted something, and then the stock just started going up and up and up. And he said that he told his investor, don't worry about it. Give it 2 or 3 years. It's going to come back down, and it's going to go back down even more. The investor called it off at $1 million loss. And yeah, they ended up losing, I guess, close to $1 million. But he was like, within 2 to 3 years, it normalized and it failed. And we would have made all the money that we expected to make had we been patient enough.
Right.
And I think GameStop is no different. Just because a bunch of spurgs eating chicken tendies decided to get on Reddit and invest in GameStop doesn't make it valuable. It would have already been valuable if it were. Yeah, now they've got a bunch of money. Now that, they all this investment. I mean, maybe, but it's not like this is going to happen constantly over and over and over again. I mean, the laws of the market, it's, you have no higher probability of escaping the laws of history or the laws of markets than you do the laws of history.
Right.
So this idea that like, oh, we've entered a new era of investment, bullshit. Like it's going to be the same way. This is an anomaly. GameStop is an anomaly. GameStop is worth what it was before this. There was an anomaly in which a bunch of people on Reddit invested, and then a bunch of hedge funds started having to invest in them to compensate for their short positions.
Right.
And they had to sell off a bunch of their short positions and lose a bunch of money. But this is a meme. I'll say this. If it doesn't correct itself, the federal government's going to correct it.
Yeah. Well,
force the correction.
Wall Street will correct it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Wall Street via the federal government.
Numerous other ways. I agree with you.
Yeah, what I mean by that, but I mean Wall Street supported Biden. So they're
right.
I think that's what happened. I think that's what happened with Robinhood. I think a few phone calls got made and said, yo, you need to get this shit in order.
Yep, I do too. Now, I don't think that I agree with you 100%. I do not believe any of this. Yes. Okay. Yes. Economic populism. Okay. Yeah, that's right. We saw it clearly demonstrated. Yes, that's right. Okay. 100%. Okay. Is investing destroyed forever? No, it's not. It already was destroyed, let's be fair, by FedGov. That means the Federal Reserve intervention in the markets. It already was destroyed. So to blame it on GameStop is naive at best.
Or Redditors or 4chan people on /biz or any of this shit. I mean, there is no more fundamental of an interruption to free markets than the Fed.
Yeah,
the Fed
that's right.
in and of itself is a massive crack in the foundation of free markets already.
Yeah.
So the idea that any of this is, oh my God, what's going on? This is a failure of free markets, or this is a solution to crony capitalism, or any of this bullshit. Like, I'm sorry, dude, I don't buy any of it. Like the existence of the Federal Reserve controlling the weight of the dollar. That right there is way more important than any of this other shit that's going on.
Couldn't agree more. Now, I do not want to deny the fact that I think there has been a change. Okay, is the market destroyed? Oh my God! Well, the market already was destroyed, dear listener, already, long before GameStop was even a stock. Okay, long before GameStop even opened their doors, it already was destroyed. Okay. So I agree with you, Luke. This is a meme and it's not true. And blaming it on Wall Street bets is, again, naive at best, evil at worst. The market will always exist. Dear listener, it's always going to exist. However, I do think because of Wall Street's reaction to this, number one, two things happened. People realized what the true game is with the Federal Reserve and Wall Street, and in the guise of Robinhood shutting down their trading options and really, frankly, legally committing market manipulation in real time consciously is what they do. Okay. They're in a world of shit right now. Right. But we'll see if the regulatory apparatus of the Securities and Exchanges Commission does anything about it. My bet is probably they won't do much because the system is rigged. That has now been exposed. That is a change. There's another thing that I would also argue has changed, and that is because of Wall Street's reaction to this. They will continue to react to it to make sure that something like this, dear listener, never happens again. Okay? So now, as a trader, okay, the market is there. The market is interfered with. I argue that the market has been destroyed by the Federal Reserve, right? So does Luke, right? But if you want to make money in the stock market now, you're going to have to not just bet against Wall Street anymore. You have to bet against this populist movement as well, okay? Because Wall Street is going to react to them, okay? Is the market over? No. Can you still make money on the stock market? Absolutely you can. Absolutely you can, right? But the context has changed. Has it been destroyed? No. But it's changed. No. It's changed.
I think it's changed. It's changed very temporarily.
I agree. I think it's very temporary.
I think we're talking 2 weeks, and everything. We're back to business as usual.
Yeah, you might be right. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, bro. You might be right about that. I was thinking more in terms of a couple months. You know what I mean? But it's not this type of thing that, oh my God, we cannot come back from this. What CNBC is telling you, right? What MSNBC is telling you. Oh,
these people are morons, man. Yeah.
From this. Yeah. We will. Will come back from this. Yeah.
There's something else I want to talk about. I want to get your opinion on this. I'm gonna assert an opinion. And I want you to give me your feedback on that.
Of course.
So one thing, of course, it's been the Reddit community, which is like the height of irony, right? It's like all these spurgs on Reddit. They're like trying to make a bunch of money and blah, blah, blah. Well, also going, we're doing this because hedge funds try to make a bunch of money. It's like they're being virtuous by being against the same virtues which are causing them to do this. I mean, the fuck. You know?
Right.
So anyways, it's it's kind of turned into this social justice anti-hedge fund mission, where they're like these hedge funds. I don't think people need to understand it's not just hedge funds. We're talking hedge funds. We're talking
Banks.
investment bankers.
Yep.
We're talking private equity firms. We are talking mutual funds
Pension
companies.
Yeah.
Pension
Yeah.
funds. Endowment funds.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to take an economy and in the economy were a human body, right? The blood running through it to keep it all alive and make it function efficiently and to keep it alive, that would be money. All right. The financial system, that is the circulatory system. So it's hedge funds and endowment funds.
Yeah.
And all these kinds of that say, oh, fuck. All right, my left hand is cold. We need to take some blood out of that hand and cut our losses. Oh shit, we need more in our feet because we're running and we're sending a bunch of blood down there. I don't know that that's how it works, but you get the analogy. The analogy checks out. So, like the financial system is the circulatory system of the body, and the blood is the money, and it's saying like where does the blood need to go? Where does the blood not need to go? How do we cut our losses? How do we send it to where it needs to be? And that's the financial system.
If I may further that analogy, I agree 100%. And dear listener, okay, so we've got the circulatory system, right? We've got the currency of the circulatory system, the blood of the circulatory system. These different institutions, private equity firms, pension firms, state pensions, hedge funds, right? The Federal Reserve. These are the organs of this human body, which Luke describes, and perfectly, if I may say. These are the organs, and they all have different functions, right? Dear listener, it cannot be lost, okay? Yes, hedge funds produce nothing, right? That was Tucker's argument last night. They produce nothing. They only extract wealth. Dear listener, it's a little bit more nuanced than that. Hedge funds have clients.
This is what I don't like about Tucker.
He's
so shallow. He's such a shallow thinker.
I don't know. I think he's a pretty deep thinker. I'm just pissed at him.
Simply, I mean, he just goes on about this whole bullshit about like, oh, these hedge funds steal money from the common man. It's like, dude,
it's not just him, man. It's not just him. It's Rush and everybody else. Steve Bannon, all of them are saying this now. And
dude, who the fuck do they think makes money for the common man? Who the fuck makes sure that these people have money to retire on? It ain't Rush.
No,
nobody's investing in Rush. Nobody's investing in Tucker.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Now, the argument can be made, dear listener, that the hedge funds exist only to extract money from our system, from our economy, for the very wealthy, because it is very expensive to invest in a hedge fund. It is very expensive. You have
to have a bunch of money because it's a bunch of risk, right? But
it is.
What a hedge fund, like in this example, the reason they were shorting GameStop is because they were betting on it failing, right? So they could make a bunch of money on it failing, and then when GameStop inevitably fails, which it will at some point, I don't know. Maybe this is an anomaly, like finance professors will write about this as some sort of like crazy anomaly in history, but under normal circumstances, what would happen is that all these hedge fund companies, and it's not just hedge funds, it's also PE companies and management consulting, PE, investment bankers,
accounting
GameStop fails. It's billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. And they break up all the assets, they break up all the equity, and then they reallocate them into new ventures and reinvest them into something that's far more productive than something which was productive in 1990 but isn't in 2020. So you think about like buggy producers.
Absolutely.
Hedge funds would have been shorting buggy producers the moment Henry Ford made automobiles affordable, and then buggy producers go out of business. They break them up, they reallocate all the capital into other automobile companies, not buggy companies. And then we're all better off for it. This is what they do. This is the circulatory system. They take something that doesn't work, break it all up, and then reallocate it somewhere else. So that we're all better off. and we're all wealthier off for it. You know?
Yeah, and there's another thing about hedge funds. One of mine and Luke's dearest friends in the entire world, and you know who you are, my blood. I'm not going to dox you right now, but you know exactly who you are. He is one of your fellow riders on this trail, dear listener. He works at a hedge fund. And I've known numerous other people who worked at hedge funds, especially when I lived in San Francisco. So there is another very real function of hedge funds. They employ people. That is their livelihood, to work for this hedge fund. These are real jobs on whom your fellow riders, in fact, dear listener, depend. So it's not, it is not black and white, evil versus good. It is much more nuanced than that. And
that's what annoys the shit. That's what annoys the shit out of me about like Tucker. It's like, oh, these hedge fund people are trying to take your money. They're bankrupting your retirement because, you know, like, was Rush saying that too?
Yeah, he was. It's the outrage porn of the week. That's what it is. The outrage porn of the week. And dear listener, go ahead.
I'm sorry, man. I was just going to say, this is what is wrong with the right.
It is. Yeah. This outrage is not going to serve us well over time, dear listener. And so Luke and I have stricken a common message here to kind of like tone it down a little bit, right? Because the narrative you're being sold by the right entirely, except from the hellions of the right, is not exactly correct. Luke and I have laid for you a more appropriate case, a more correct case, if I may say, which I do, right? There's a lot more to this than what you're being told, dear listener. And so start looking at this in a principled manner, right? Don't look at it in outrage, okay? Don't fall for any outrage. Refer to your principles, refer to your premises, refer to your foundation, right? And look at it that way. So, oh man, I'm so glad we talked about this. We're literally the only ones saying this right now on the right. We're the only ones, and we're correct in this.
I'm not proud of that. That is sad and pathetic.
It is. Sucks.
It's
I know.
Sad and pathetic. That shows you how far gone the right is.
Yeah, it does. It does.
This is why we do the show. And this is why I'm almost glad that Trump didn't get reelected, because now I can come out against all these people who are just worse than useless. They are harmful.
Yeah. Agreed entirely, sir. And, dear listener, I am going to agree with Rush's and Steve Bannon's populist argument that this is economic populism. I'm going to agree with it. I'm also going to say, dear listener, be careful what you wish for with any type of populism, okay? It feels good. It feels sexy, right? We have been attacked as individuals by a collective. Does it mean that a collective response is appropriate? No, it won't work. It won't work in the end. Every populist movement has had massive consequences, and it had to be corrected. For example, dear listener, Hugo Chavez in Venezuela, that was a populist movement, okay? Purely a populist movement. Look how that turned out. You get a communist dictator for life, bro. Now they're really trying to correct that. They'll never be able to do that. That's how that populist movement resulted, okay? It has been argued in some of my political science classes that the American Revolution was a populist revolt. Okay, I think there's a credible argument to be made there. I think in the case of the American Revolution, it doesn't really hit the mark, right? Because there was a lot more going on in the American Revolution than simply a populist revolt, okay? That one worked out well. Venezuela turned to shit. So, dear listener, again, as I said earlier in the show, I can shout at the sky for its shade of blue, okay? I can shout at populism, the era of populism in which we now find ourselves. I can shout all I want about it. We're in it nonetheless, right? Hopefully, Luke and I can course correct this a little bit because, dear listener, populism intrinsically is collectivism, and that is always dangerous. Always dangerous. Just as the collectivism of the left has proven itself to be dangerous to our individual selves. Let end rant. Sorry about that, bro. Sorry.
Oh, good, dude. What do you say? We go ahead and close this show out, dude. I think that's a great closing monologue, to be honest with you.
Okay, good deal, man. Dear listener, I'm leaving on the table, just so you know. I am leaving Trump's plans, good stuff. Cuck alert. Biden, or rather Democrat legislation, civil war argumentation, Civil War 2.0, Dominion election systems, how we're being branded as terrorists, Texas secession, Texas lawsuit, which we kind of covered, impeachment, Obamagate, anti-white rhetoric, and Jeffrey Epstein. Maybe I'll do a bots this week, dear listener, because we've got a lot on the table, but I agree with you, Luke. I think we've laying the foundations for us to do a deep dive on populism at some point in time. Give us a little bit of time to study. Yeah, give us a little bit of time to study, dear listeners, so we can do it right. All right? And yeah, man, let's do it.
All right, let's close it out. I'm ready with the outro music. Dear listener, we're live producing this. Yeah,
you got to do my socials first, and then we'll boom her out.
Dear listener, if you want to support us, you can do so on zerogravitymedia.locals.com. Don't support us if you can't afford it, but if you can, and we do what you like in terms of pushing your values, then go support us. We would love it. So we can do more of it, hopefully in the future. You can find me on Gab at Coolhand Lucifer, LUKEFAHR. You can find Russ on. Are you on Gab yet?
No, I'm going to do that this weekend. I have a sock account on Gab, but I'm going to get a proper one this weekend. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
You can find Russ here in the coming days at RussGGM on Gab. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at Zero Gravity Med. You can find everything we do, zero-gravity-media.com. Send us feedback, zero-gravity-media.com/contact. And you can find all of our audio on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn, and not Podbean.
I love that. Yeah. All right. You ready to ride, bro? You ready to set up camp? All right. Dear listener, we have made it all the way down this 113-mile Trek Prime number episode. We had so much fun. We hope you did as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope we did you proud. Leave us some feedback at zero-gravity-media.com/contact. Let us know how we did. Give us comments here on this YouTube stream. We had so much fun. Thank you so much, dear listener. Let's enjoy each other's company. Luke and I will be back at you before you know it, on time and under budget, next week for episode number 114. And meanwhile, Luke, you take care of yourself, brother.
You take care, brother. Peace.
All right.